Hey there, yeah, this is good old Pig Cake here. This is going to be a different format in terms of the usual hysterical gags you see on the other videos. This is more of a commentary. I mentioned this in the live stream that I want to do a sort of commentary on this particular documentary. Now, unfortunately, because the only contact I have with the BBC is looking up that branch of pornography, I don't have access to show you that video. So what you're going to have to do is click on the link below that I linked to the YouTube video of this particular documentary called The Secret Swami. See, I'm actually fairly interested in this sort of pseudo psychology, these cult leaders, if you would, that have such influence over such a vast majority of people that should be reasonably intelligent. So I have kind of a passing interest in this. So this is kind of why I wanted to do this video in sort of a different format. Now, of course, if you don't like this sort of format, then you don't have to watch the video. You can just stick to watching the hysterical tutorials that I've put up. So here we're going to start watching the actual documentary itself. Again, it's called The Secret Swami. I'm going to tell you when to pause. But right now, you should be at minute 0 here. And we should be watching this together. It's a 58-minute documentary. So, grab a Coke, grab your marijuana, and sit back and relax with Pig Cake as we go through this wonderful documentary called Exposing Godmen, The Secret Swami. So this is, by the way, on the Satya Sai Baba. So this guy is a particularly interesting fellow because he is popular, or he was popular because he's dead now. I don't know. That's the common trend among all these so-called godmen, that they eventually do die. But this one in particular, he got popular for performing what is otherwise very, very crappy sleight of hand magic. And also, apart from the sleight of hand magic, he was a philanthropist. He did provide water and Medicare services to areas that needed it desperately. However, his problem, which you'll see in the documentary, is that he liked boy butts. That's the little bit of a problem there. So, you could be the biggest philanthropist in the world and have all these wondrous things that you do. But just, that little problem of you liking a boy butthole is enough to kind of dismiss all of that. So you'll see that this is kind of a theme in this documentary. And we're just going to start playing it now. We'll start it. So go ahead. You could press play in 3, 2, 1, now. I apologize in advance for the potato quality of this particular documentary, but it's the only one that's available on the internet. Pause. Okay, so right now we're at minute 109, where you get to see a fantastic close-up of Satya Sai Baba's face. And by the way, great editing on the part of BBC here for using he and not actually calling this person by name, and then not actually showing his face until just now in this minute 109. So this is the guy here, obviously, who's going to be the protagonist of this documentary. Now, right off the bat, you see kind of the where this is going to head in terms of the actual documentary itself. But you're going to see him do something here that he's going to actually fully perform later on in the documentary, which is the regurgitation of a golden egg. And this guy is the laziest piece of shit in terms of sleight of hand, because he doesn't even bother with doing the David Blaine swallowing it and then bringing it up, learning how to control your throat muscles. No, this piece of shit, you'll see how he does this particular magical bit later on in the actual documentary. But holy shit. Holy shit. Okay, so we're going to continue playing off here. We're at minute 109, so you could press play in 3, 2, 1. Phenomenal close-up work there on BBC, just zooming in right to this fuckface's face. This is going to highlight several families that were particularly connected to the Sai Baba. See, these are not dumb people. They're reasonably intelligent adults now, and were reasonably intelligent adults back then. But they get caught in this wave that, you know, affects them by this sort of, you know, avatar, this God on earth sort of person. It's kind of unbelievable to watch, but you'll see them talk about their experience. You wonder what they do to make them such ballers with this amazing house, motherfuckers. Matthew McConaughey vibes on this guy right here. Look at this motherfucker. That jello robe probably cost about $14,000. Piece of shit. Holy shit. See, this is more of a motivational documentary that if these guys have the ability to make a lot of money, then anybody could make money, especially knowing their fucking beliefs. Okay, you can pause right here at 450. So this is a common trend that you're going to see through the course of this documentary. And again, even me, I find myself making fun of these people as often as I possibly can. But the truth of the matter is that you don't really understand, you know, again, these are people coming up from different branches of life, coming from different experiences, you know, different parents, different sort of situations in their life. So you really can't call them stupid. Because they're only following what they're raised to believe. They're only kind of going through with what they've been taught, the only things that they've been taught. So a common trend among here, which is something that all of us kind of as magicians kind of experience, you know, at least the majority of us, is this idea of trying to find something else or trying to find something that binds us to be able to interact with other people. And it just so happens that these people, what they found to bind them to a greater purpose in life is this Satya Sai Baba creeper, yellow outfit wearing fucking boy love asshole. So, you know, it's unfortunate these people had to go through this, but it's interesting to see the power of even simple rudimentary magic tricks. And you're going to see later on in this documentary, the amount of sleight of hand that this guy uses is comparable to that of a small autistic tree monkey trying to do some card manipulations. He barely does a thumb palm. He barely does, you know, a palm. He barely does any sort of actual sleight of hand work. And it's kind of unbelievable to see what he gets away with, especially surrounded. And you're going to see it with the egg. The fucking egg that this guy produces out of his mouth is ridiculous. So go ahead. You guys can play in 3, 2. We're going to be in 450, by the way. Sorry to interrupt there, but we're at 450, and you can press play in 3, 2, 1, go. So this is a trend here. This guy materialized objects. He didn't produce them. He materialized them out of apparently the ether. Holy shit. Yeah, these guys were in. This guy produced them out of his ass. Oh yeah, sheesh. You can almost see the premature ejaculate stains on the orange robe there. This guy right here. Holy shit. This documentary was, by the way, in 2004, from my understanding. He died in 2011. So it kind of shows you that, this is modern times. This isn't something that you see from, antiquated time. This guy obviously got to start in the, 60s, 70s, 80s, but this is still modern times and something that is a modern belief in millions, if not, billions of people. Billion, sorry. So it's a commonality among for these sort of people to try to seek enlightenment or try to seek a bigger purpose in their life. So they'll come overseas from the United States or Canada or even South and Central America to try to find this bigger purpose, which is why they would reach out to a figure like this that claims to be a god on Earth. So, it's unfortunate. Fucking hippies. What the fuck is that guy on? Damn, my guy getting it in there. This is where these sort of people thrive. I'm talking about Sai Baba, that they thrive on people looking and seeking for this sort of enlightenment, this sort of, you know, other purpose in life. And it's unfortunate these people kind of fall for it. And it doesn't help that these high profile people like the Beatles, or, you know, you have all these celebrities. What the fuck is this guy doing? But you have all these people that flock to watch these sort of people, and it's unfortunate that they're influenced by these otherwise high profile people. But you know, it's a cyclical thing, unfortunately. This guy's the guy that came up with the hard rock. So a very fairly intelligent man and wealthy man, and even he's falling to this. Overpriced. Motherfucker. Chicken tenders for $15. Get the fuck out of here. Especially young boy butts. Let me just be clear about that. Young boy butts is the one that's being served the most. Liar. Again, you see the commonality of the thread of looking for a higher purpose. It's a wonder why all these living gods always happen to die. You know, people like L. Ron Hubbard, who died of a stroke in his house. But no, he didn't die. He moved to a bigger plane. It's wondrous they're changing of definition here. And boy butts. Let's be clear. And it's unfortunate that people like this usually do these, you know, philanthropic, for lack of a better term, sort of things where they provide needs for populations that need it. And then they get the respect and admiration of populations like this. It's really unfortunate because they use this sort of thing to hide, you know, their other motives. And it's unfortunate that these people see this person as this great individual when, you know, he's using magic and sleight of hand, deceit, lies to get his way and to kind of get control over these people. It's really unfortunate. it's taken advantage of an economic situation, and it's it's kind of disgusting. And this is a common thread among these cult, quote unquote cult leaders. They're gonna get to the sleight of hand here soon enough when he starts producing ash, and he starts producing necklaces and rings and watches for people, and it's kind of amazing to see how easy this or how rudimentary the sleight of hand is, but yet how much of a profound effect it has on these people. There's Tigrit, holy shit. I don't think they mention it in this documentary, but he would get letters from his followers and the people that loved him, and he would hide necklaces and watches underneath the actual envelopes that he was holding in his left hand, and then oftentimes materialize or produce them in the context of giving people these tokens and these talismans supposedly, but he was just hiding them underneath and producing them in ways that are not even good enough for even the worst kids book of magic. Look, here it goes. My guy didn't even put effort in that. See, look at this. There's no effort. This guy's not even caring about a finger palm. This guy just puts it right in the crotch of his thumb and produces that as if it came from, look at that. Come on, my guy. Come on. This is the part that I find the most interesting, because he's literally doing really bad sleight of hand and these people aren't seeing it. Or maybe they don't care to see it. That's always a possibility. A scary possibility, but see, there's the first allegation of abuse by this individual. Again, these are allegations, but it's kind of crazy to see it's confirmation bias. It's a form of that. It's this looking for things to support your beliefs, looking for things to support your ideals, and ignoring the rest. And the parents were so committed to this individual that they were willing to ignore this obvious abuse. Obviously, it happened to the dad there, but they see it as a, you know, one of the steps to the spiritual enlightenment, and refuse to see it as what it is, which is abuse. It's actual abuse. It's not borderline abuse. That's straight up, you know, straight up child abuse. James Randi. This guy's the wannabe James Randi of India here. In the most rickety ass van you've ever seen in your entire life. These guys are going to talk about the methods that he used for sleight of hand, and it's kind of really funny. Guy. My guy here. I'm sure Illusion is going to sell that. I'd hit it. My guy can't even learn how to do it with two hands. Double booty, that's great. To quote James Ramsey, to quote James Randi on doing it for Uri Geller when Uri Geller used to bend spoons. If Uri Geller is using the, you know, the actual claims, and if he's doing what he's actually claiming to do, he's doing it the hard way, because this to me seems like the easier way to do it than actually physically materializing it, breaking the laws of physics and every, you know, biological fact that we've come to learn for the past 8,000 years. This guy's talking about the larger motion covering the smaller motion. That's great. That's hysterical. Here's the egg production that this guy's going to produce out of his mouth. Again, we'll pause it in a little bit here, but this is unbelievable. Holy shit. Like boy butts. I feel like this segment was created to show the quintessential example of a hippie traveling family. Still blows my mind how well spoken and intelligent and reasonably successful these people are that fall for this and go for this sort of ideals and looking for this enlightenment. These guys are reaching to grab this guy's feet to try to touch any part of the apparently avatar God on Earth. It's unbelievable. Again, the things are all allegations because there's no proof apart from spoken words, but the consistency of the stories, and these people are obviously ideally not in contact, and they still come up with the same similar stories about the oil and all the same techniques that he would do, calling him over, and it's really disgusting. Unbelievable. That's the greatest quote of this entire documentary. Got him. This guy's so proper, calling it the blowjob, as you guys call it. This almost feels like a bit. Like this was fabricated to show a crazy hippie family. It's kind of crazy that this is an actual clip. I can't imagine them banging. I know that has nothing to do with this, but it's. I can't imagine them actually having sex without having some sort of weird poster of the Sai Baba just there present. Of course, not anymore, but during this time period here. Oh shit. She has his haircut. My guy's producing those little things you find for a nickel. Of course, at a price. That's his equivalent of dirty talk. Unbelievable. Come on. That's the worst thing. This is a great blocking here on the part of BBC. This guy talking, they're gonna zoom out and show the mom's face here in a bit. Here's the actual egg production that this guy does. Again, unbelievable egg production. Who would be proud? Who's somebody that's produced eggs in the Magic community? You got that TV production there. Here it goes. Oh, there it is. Did you catch it? Did you? There it is. Hey, what a fucking joke. What a joke. This guy shows a very rudimentary way on how to do this. He couldn't afford the golden egg. That's hysterical. Notice the difference of the eggs that he's produced. Holy shit. Let's pause here at 33:38. That's see if you notice that's kind of the highlight for me of this documentary, where he is not even going through the basic effort of swallowing it, or he at least used to. That they claimed he just puts it on a towel, spits water in a towel, and then produces this egg, and people are still wondered. They still in wonderment of this production of this holy object enough to still follow his teachings. That right there is a massive red flag, and it's kind of insane the amount of people he has pulled on with these very rudimentary sleight of hand. But it does show you the power of sleight of hand, even at its worst, because this is not even good for a performance that you're not getting paid. This isn't even good to show somebody. This is not even magic that's been practiced to the point where it's ready to be shown to people. Yet it's still enough to make these people believe in him as an avatar, as a god man. And it's just crazy to see that. And especially his productions of the rings and necklaces and watches. It's all basic rudimentary sleight of hand, and it's crazy to see these sort of people. You see like Uri Geller, who has since come out as saying that he's a magician, but still in his heyday, he was genuinely convincing people that he was that this power was in him. Same with the Sai Baba, where he has this unbelievable presence and sort of performance ability to convince these people that these basic sleight of hand methods are coming from a different existence, a different plane. It's really crazy to see, the power and strength of sleight of hand magic. Sorry. And one of the most fascinating things to me is this idea of And one of the most fascinating things to me is this idea of being able to convince these people of your powers, even through this rudimentary sleight of hand method. And you see this a lot with mentalism, that even when mentalism is done wrong, you have all these people telling these stories on how people have approached them after, saying, oh, could you, put me in communication with my mom who's deceased, or could you tell me, what am I going to experience in my later life? And, all that from just basic mentalism, basic sleight of hand. So it's kind of crazy to see that. At least in this sense. And, there are other cult leaders and other people that have done this. But to me, this seems like the person that has the most pull, because he's literally affected millions of people in India, if not, a billion, because their population is massive. So he is one of the ones that is the most prolific in that sense. So we're going to keep playing this here at 33-38 in 3, 2, 1, play. The Oscar goes to Satya Sai Baba here. It's the confirmation bias. That's the psych term here for these guys, that they're looking for things to support their beliefs. And unfortunately, they were looking at things to support. And even if they were told by their son that this guy was rubbing oil on them and doing all these acts, in that mindset, they were only looking for things to support their beliefs, their pre-existing beliefs. And it's really unfortunate, especially for the son that had to deal with all this. One little thing. The same idea with Scientology. Hopefully, I don't have a bunch of Scientologists outside of my house, but it's the same idea that they're told, not to say things and not to, to pretty much restrict their own speech and dialogue, so people don't really discover what the true meaning of it is. It's the same that he's doing here. Don't say it. And imagine, it's very easy for us to say in our positions, why didn't they say he's stupid for not saying anything? But again, it's as if you are talking back to God here. So it's as if God is telling you, hey, don't tell your parents. Obviously, if you truly believe that this person is God, you're not going to tell your parents shit. So it's the same thing that happened to the young man, and it's very unfortunate. That's a very unfortunate situation. Again, confirmation bias, it's a powerful thing. These guys are really unaware of the other things that are beyond their scope of belief. So they tend to only look at the things that support it. And in this case, these politicians are motivated financially. And, with all the help that this guy's giving them, it's unfortunate that they don't see past that bubble. And you see that this guy even gets upset. Nice. Look at that hard finger point. Nice. She then had to explain the black eye that she had for the next 2 weeks. Holy shit. How hysterical is it that they can't call him out by name? They just have to refer to him, saying there's a certain religious man that wears an orange robe and produces golden eggs from his asshole. Not a joke. They killed the fuck out of them. That's spoilers. They killed the fuck out of these guys. Damn, let me tell you, BBC is not holding back here. Let's just show some shots here that are definitely gonna haunt your nightmares for the next week and a half. Holy shit! Yeah, they killed the shit out of him. Did you say totally bullshit? Of course, the only thing that was able to stop the Sai Baba here is death. Because even as a god man, he's still prone to human disease. Spoilers, they don't. Satya Sai Baba then sucked his dick. That's what happened. I have people in the know. I have people in the know that were there that saw it. Holy shit. Hey man, did you kill that kid? No man, I didn't kill him. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the investigation here. Let's see him dance around this one. Nice. My heart tells me that I can murder 15 individuals, but you know, it makes me feel good, so I'll do it. Kettle calling the pot black here. Case closed. Case closed. We got Sherlock Holmes here on the case, guys. This guy's answer is my favorite. Got him. I think this guy should talk to himself. Talk for himself. Sorry. I think this guy should have somebody talk for him with those retarded ass answers. My guy here. Death. 2011. That's what brought him down. That's not odd as shit. Let me tell you, that sounds smooth as fuck. I don't know if this guy made it in the music producing business, but that sounded pretty smooth. Yeah, so let's end it there at 58:24. So this is pretty much just an interesting documentary I saw a couple years ago, and then recently came to it again. But here on his Wikipedia, which is of course the most time-honored sort of empirical evidence here, here it states that on March 28th, 2011, Sai Baba was admitted to the hospital at a city that I'm not about to pronounce. Following respiratory-related problems, of course, an issue that plagues every god that I am aware of. After nearly a month of hospitalization, in which his condition progressively deteriorated, Sai Baba died on Sunday, April 24th, at 84. Here's a part that I find particularly funny. Sai Baba had predicted that he would die at the age of 96 and would remain healthy until then. After he died, some devotees suggested that he might have been referring to that many lunar years, as counted by the Telugu-speaking Hindus, rather than solar years, and using the Indian way of accounting for age. Of course, Sai Baba died at 84, so that's just them trying to, account for the fact that he was off by just a tad bit. And they, of course, are mentioning that they are anticipating his resurrection, reincarnation, or reawakening, which will no doubt take place somewhere in the future. So again, this is just an interesting documentary in terms of just the power of basic rudimentary magic skills. And we take for granted, this little, part of the world that we have in terms of magical abilities. We take for granted its strength and its ability to touch people and affect people. And this is just one form of abuse in that sort of same ideal. And it's crazy to see the actual strength of even the worst sleight of hand and even the worst attempts at, manipulating people. And we see this with psychics. We see this with cold readers. We see this, it's becoming less and less prevalent, but it's still an issue that affects, millions of people around the world. And it's just a shame. So I just hope you guys enjoyed that documentary. I hope you guys enjoyed the small commentary that I added on it. And maybe I might make this some sort of series where I, commentate over certain different things. Uri Geller might be next. Sylvia Brown, thank God she's dead. So these are just things that I'm interested in passing. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video. Do all the things that people do. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/pigcake, exclusive stuff. Pigcake.me. Use code KEEM for 15% off those hot magic tricks. I'm going to go figure out different ways to use a battery to kickstart my heart. Again, thank you guys for listening.
When I see you again, 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 when I see you again.